So as far as the injuries go, Hitch is sick, not uh, not COVID as we know it. So he's been still testing and all, but he's just sick. Kalechi did tear the tendons in his knee, so he will be out. And then Sherm will be out also, still in the protocol. And then Sammy Watkins with the hamstring will not practice. But look forward to the challenge of playing Buffalo. It's a well-coached football team, and they've got great players. And so we'll have a good week of practice starting today, and make sure that we cover the bases there. So with that, time's yours.
Go first to Sam Mellinger. Good, Sam.
Hey, Andy, I know we've asked a lot, and you've talked a lot about Patrick's leadership, but I'm curious how you've seen that maybe evolve from his first year as a starting quarterback, particularly in moments like this. I'm just wondering if, after losses, if you see him being quicker to, challenge rather than encourage.
Yeah, well, I mean, he always challenges, but he always encourages. I think he's pretty consistent that way, and sometimes after a loss in this league, you've got to be. So those things happen, and you work through it, and you bear down, and just make sure you keep the details right, and that's what he's all about. So.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach, we've had about 5 weeks now with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I was just curious as to how you've seen his development going, and same thing for the personnel staff, the guys you speak with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, he's done I think a very nice job, both catching the ball and running the ball. So, and I think every snap is a good thing to put under his belt, to learn from. So, I've been very happy with how he's performing, and he'll do nothing but get better. That's a great thing there. So, and I'm not going to speak for those guys, but I think they're, I think they're pretty happy about it.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, just wanted to do a couple things. Wanted to gauge the Chiefs' interest level in Le'Veon Bell now that he's a free agent, number one. And number two, is Sammy Watkins a candidate for IR, or do you guys anticipate that he doesn't necessarily have to miss 3 games?
Yeah, I know Brett's working through all that. I don't with Sammy, I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. So I think we're just going to let him heal up and take it from there. But and then who Bell was the other one. You have to ask that, being a Michigan State guy. I know. It's Beaches does all that. I tell him if something happens, let me know, and then we roll. So.
Go next to Dave Scretta. Go ahead, Dave.
Andy, this is the second former assistant of yours you're going to face this year, and you actually have 5 of them across the league. Do you ever stop and look at your coaching tree, and is there something that's different or unique or challenging about facing somebody that knows you so well?
No, that's a good question. I would tell you, I'm proud of those guys and the job they do. I mean, Sean is tremendous. He's got a couple guys on his staff that were with us too in Philadelphia, and I think he's done a great job up there. So I'm proud of him and the job that he's done, and Leslie Free, so on. So that the guys, excuse me, it's different, but I think once the kickoff happens, you're in the play mode. So I mean, you don't think too much of it at that particular time.
Go next to Surin Petro. Go ahead, Surin.
Brad, I'll have a follow-up just real quick on this. But, Coach, just as a matter, I kind of think I know where this is going to go. But in McDermott's press conference today, he kind of told a story about how his time ended with Philadelphia and you letting him go and saying that this is the best thing for you. I know, those things are close to the best, but is there anything you could add to that story? It was a very interesting story to hear him kind of tell how his time ended. Do you have anything you'd add to how that happened?
Well, I'm probably not going to go into that, but I would tell you that he's a great coach, and he always has been. So it was just one of those things, and it's worked out great for him. So that's most important, I think. And he's going to have a long career as a head football coach.
Okay. And then bouncing back after a loss, especially this is kind of a unique one. You guys have won 13 in a row. It's not something you're used to. Is there anything you do differently? Is there something that, you approach, after a loss that you tweak to get guys focused, or is it just business as usual?
Well, first, you don't ever want to get used to it. So that's a part of it. But we've been fortunate to win enough games there to where we haven't had to deal with that much. But the primary focus is getting better at those things. Learn from the things that took place Monday, and let's make sure that we correct those. I mean, that's what's real. And then go get yourself ready to play a good Buffalo team and to travel and so on. And all our energy and time should be spent on those couple things there. So learning from your mistakes, and then jump in and exhaust yourself on learning about Buffalo.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Specific to Osamele, and with the torn tendons, how much do you anticipate season-ending surgery on him and injured reserve?
Yeah, they're working all that out with the doctors and just making sure that they evaluate it and what he can do and can't do from here. And I mean, it's a process, right? Not doesn't happen very often where somebody has two injuries at the same time like that. So, they'll just nothing's been decided yet, so they're working through all that.
Go next to Karen. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Coach. Just a couple things. One, the scheduling, you were supposed to be playing them tonight, and because of the domino effect, the way it's gone, does it take a toll on the team when you've had to do this a couple times?
I don't think it does. I mean, I haven't noticed that. I feel like the guys came into this season knowing that there was going to be change and you'd have to be flexible. They've seen it with other teams, so we feel like we're all in it together as the NFL. And then we just expected that things weren't going to be exactly the way it was set up to be, and you'd have to kind of roll with it. And so I think the guys have handled it very well, and I haven't really noticed any problems with that. No.
Go last to Breland Moore. Go ahead, Breland.
Hey, good morning, Andy. Yesterday, Sean McDermott said that you were one of his biggest mentors throughout this process. Obviously, he is doing something that no coach since Marv Levy has really been able to do up in Buffalo. But how often do you guys talk? And, how often does he pick your brain about this type of stuff that he's doing quite well?
Yeah, we talk every once in a while. We're both busy, and that's how that goes. But every once in a while, we hook up and talk, and it's all good. From one redhead to another, or I have no hair anymore, but I mean, it was at one time one redhead to another. So he doesn't have much hair either. So I mean, we're kind of in that same boat together. But we still talk. Yeah.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Got Patrick coming up next. You ready for us?
Ready to go.
All right. We'll start with Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hey, Patrick. Can you just talk about the fact that once again, a big game, two great quarterbacks. Josh Allen's done great. He's like ranked second. You're ranked fourth when it comes to passing yards. Does that just get your competitive juices at a higher level? You're not facing him, but you're both on the stage showcasing your great talent.
I think it's always awesome to go against a great opponent. Going against the Buffalo Bills, I mean, they have a great defense. They have a great offense, great special teams, just an overall great team. And so anytime you get to play on these games, Monday evening, night, whatever it is, and you get to go up against a great opponent, it's always an exciting challenge, and I'm ready for it.
Good morning, Patrick. To kind of go off of Karen's question here, we've seen you go up against young quarterbacks, really and truthfully, 3 out of the 5 games so far this year, and a lot of them, you have relationships with prior to. Are you friends with Josh Allen? Know about him, and have you guys kind of crossed paths, not on the field per se, but in just life in general?
Yeah, we've crossed paths a few times. I mean, I really respect his game. I mean, he's been someone that's gotten better and better every single year. And from everything that I've heard and everybody that I've been around, he works his tail off. So he's a guy that I know I'll be facing a lot as our careers go on. And it'll be a great challenge and a great opportunity for me to get to go against that team and him at quarterback.
Let's go next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick. I have 2 election-related questions. Brad, if you don't mind, I'll just ask one at a time. Would you mind taking us through what the confusion was when you were trying to vote and discovered you weren't registered, and how meaningful that was? And I'll come back with a second one.
Yeah, I think the confusion was that when I registered, I was registering in Texas with my house in Texas, and I'm kind of really close to a county line. And I had sent it, and I knew I'd put the right county in. But it somehow got sent to another county and then got canceled, and I wasn't. They didn't really let me know, and so whenever I went to kind of go get your absentee voting type stuff, I realized that I wasn't registered to vote still, and I thought I had sent it in. But obviously, I was able to do it again. I was able to stay on top of it, and making sure that I got registered and everything like that, and now being able to be a registered voter, I plan on using my voice and going out there and doing that.
And that was just the follow-up, Patrick. You've made this a sort of a platform of yours. I wonder, we're less than 3 weeks to the election now. Would you be doing anything more in particular to raise awareness and just get your voice heard about getting our voices heard?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do what I can, and I think the biggest thing is, like you said, is just using your voice. No matter what that voice is, whatever your opinion is, just using your voice that you have the platform and you've been given, in a very important year. To go out there and do what you can to be a part of this country and be a part of trying to make us better every single day.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. To follow up on that, actually, so Arrowhead will be a polling location here for the general election, and you and your foundation, 15 and the Mahomes, played a huge role in making that happen. Can you walk us through that process and why that was important to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it started off with great communication with the organization and the Kansas City Chiefs of trying to use Arrowhead as such a historic place, such a great spot in this community as a place for people to come together and vote and use their voice. And so with talking with them and the people in my foundation, we're able to make that stuff come to life. And I'm proud of this organization and my foundation for being able to do that, along with other guys on the team who were really impactful of making it a polling place so everybody can use their voice and have a neutral ground to go do it.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick. Good afternoon. In light of Sammy Watkins' hamstring injury, McCole Hardman is probably going to see a bigger role. How better equipped is he, in your opinion, to handle it this year compared to last year when he had to fill in?
I mean, obviously he's got more and more experience. I thought he did a pretty good job last year when he filled in for Tyreek and for, I think it was Sammy at some points. He's a guy that's ready for the challenge. It's about stepping up and being prepared, and you know what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. So it's about just making sure that he's prepared and ready to go, and I'm sure he will be.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, a couple of things. First of all, a lot of the numbers will show that you all are a better offensive team when Sammy's on the field than when he's not. I was wondering if there's some things that he does that maybe don't show up in the stat sheet that make you guys a better offensive team. And the second thing is, I was wondering if you had any kind of recruiting pitch for Le'Veon Bell.
Well, the first part, I mean, obviously, having Sammy out there is a huge plus. I mean, he's someone who does everything. I mean, he's able to catch and be explosive. He blocks very well. He gets other guys open. And whenever you have those type of playmakers on the field, defenses have to really take notice of that. And so I think that's why you see the subtle differences and the production and stuff like that. But you're hoping guys can step up like McCole and Pringle and all these other guys and make up for some of that production. And then with the Le'Veon thing, I leave that stuff up to Veach and them. Obviously a tremendous player, someone that can do it all, catch the ball, run the ball. But I let Beach and them handle everything like that. And then when whoever's in this locker room, we make sure that they're ready to go and make plays on Sundays.
Let's go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Patrick, two things real quick. One, whatever happened to the competition that was going to happen between you and Josh Allen and who could throw the ball the furthest? Did that ever come about? And will it ever come about? And then as a follow-up, this was kind of a unique one where you could actually sit back and watch their game. And I'm just curious what you do when you got your next opponent and you get a chance to sit. And do you take in the whole game? Do you take notes? What do you do when watching the game?
Yeah, the first part of your question, I mean, obviously with the COVID situation going on this offseason, we weren't able to get anything like that going. And, I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I'm usually in Texas. He's usually, I think, in California. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that in the future. But I'm always up to any challenge and everything like that. And so, and then the second part of your question, you ask it one more time for me, please.
Sorry. Yes. Just what getting a chance to watch the Bills, like get an opponent. Usually you guys are always playing at the same time. You don't get a chance to get that extra look at them. I'm just curious what you do when you do get that opportunity.
So yeah, usually in the games, I don't necessarily watch the other offense that much, other than trying to see if we're third down, fourth down, or whatever's going on in the game. I'm usually focusing on what we're trying to do the next drive or the next series or later on in the game, or seeing what the defenses gave me in the previous series. But I've had a chance to watch their offense a couple times, just playing similar opponents like the Raiders and other teams. And so I was able to see them, and they're very, very good offense that does a lot of great things, and Josh is playing at a very high level.
Go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick. Brad, I'll have a follow-up to this, but you've always been a pretty candid critic of your own play. I'm wondering when you watch film of Sunday's game, what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't execute like we wanted to the entire game. I mean, we had some shots here and there that we hit, and we were able to go down there and score some points. But we just didn't execute and play to the level and the efficiency that we're used to playing at. And when you play against another team that's a great opponent and you're not executing at a high level and putting your defense in bad situations, usually you don't win the football game. And so we understand that and know that we can't just rely on the big play. We got to make sure that we execute at a high level. And when the big play comes, we have to find a way to hit it and win the football game.
And the second thing is you were out of the pocket a lot on Sunday. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, obviously they did a good job with their game plan of covering the guys that I wanted to go to and getting some pressure. But I also I bailed in the pocket sometimes, and I ran out of the pocket sometimes. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but it all really goes down to execution. And being able to execute from the pocket. And whenever I do get outside the pocket, I have to make plays happen too. So hopefully this week we'll come out and play another great defense and hopefully come out with a little bit better effort on our end.
Got three hands up. We'll just go right down the line. Harold, Pete, and then Sam. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Pat. Sam kind of mentioned what I was going to ask you first, but we'll move on with that. Monday, 4 o'clock, usually reserved for like a JV team or a high school football practice, and now it's an NFL game. Just your overall thoughts on playing in the afternoon on Monday, how weird that is, and do you get with the mayor to try to get people out to work early to try to get them a little later to watch the ball game?
Well, I didn't think about that with the mayor, but hopefully people are able to watch it whenever they get off work and everything like that. But for me, it's just like any other football game. We understood the challenges coming into this season and had to be able to expect the unexpected. And it's going to be a Monday game, which will be our third Monday game in 4 weeks or whatever it is. And so we're excited for the opportunity to get to play in front of everybody and get to play against a great football team.
Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Pat, it seems like a lot of the good quarterbacks in the league, everyone always has his go-to guy. For you on third and long, or you're looking for somebody, it tends to be Travis Kelce. What about that relationship do you think has made him develop into what has become your go-to guy?
I just think he does a great job of finding ways to get open, even after the routes that he runs might not be there. He's a guy who just continues to work, and he continues to make sure that he's working and trying to get in my vision. And so when I do make these scrambles, sometimes you see him being the recipient of that. But that, as well as a lot of those third and longs, Tyreek and McCole and those guys are kind of getting double teamed over the top, so he's able to work. So it's a combination of those things, and it's something that we're going to continue to try to get better at and stay out of those third and longs as much as possible.
The last is Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Patrick, I think this is fair to say you're a naturally like positive person. I also think that even after some wins this year, in the press conference, you've been pretty clear that you weren't happy with the performance. I'm just curious, in general, your leadership style, if you feel like it's evolved in the last couple of years, if you're more comfortable, or if you feel more of a need to sort of challenge rather than encourage.
Not necessarily. I think the biggest thing, I've always been someone that loves to challenge the guys in our locker room, but always with a positive mentality. And I think whenever you're going out there and you're putting in the work along with the other guys in the locker room, that we can talk to each other and really challenge each other every single day, and still be best friends in the locker room and everything like that. And so we have a lot of great young veteran guys in this locker room. We've been together for a couple of years now, and we want to be great every single time we hit the field. And when we're not executing at the level that we expect, obviously we're going to try to challenge each other to be better the next time we're out there.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We got McCole Hardman coming up next. All right, we got McCole stepping up now. If you guys want to put your hands up.
I'm here.
You ready for us?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Nicole. So it's not quite prime time, but it's national game, 4:00 on Monday against the Bills, a really good team. How excited are you just to go out there under the lights, play a big game here to get back on track offensively?
Yeah, I think any Monday night game is cool. I feel like we've been on it's gonna be our third Monday night game, so it's kind of like different, just playing on so many Mondays. But looking forward to the challenge. The Bills got a great team, and just go out there and play and hopefully get back on track.
Let's go next to Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Nicole. Do you sometimes wonder what day it is? Because your schedule has been all over the place. And is it hard to kind of keep some type of routine of preparation when things can change at the last minute, even if you knew that was going to happen, but actually living through it?
Yeah, it's very different this year. But I think mainly you just just keep focused and keep working, just keep grinding, and they say you play on this day, you prepare for that day. If it changed, then just you gotta. I think it's more of a mentally thing and just staying focused. I think if you stay focused, stay sharp, and be mentally prepared for everything that can happen, I think you'll be just fine. But other than that, man, just go in every day, coming to work, and just work and grind and until it's time to play. And when you play, go out there and leave it all out there.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
We'll see about Sammy, but it's looking like he'll at least be out for this game. How critical do you find this opportunity to show that you can handle maybe some more of the workload of the offense?
I'm prepared, man. I think I did it last year. Tyreek went down. I think Sammy went down one time too. So I think I'm ready for the challenge. It's nothing that I don't think I can handle. I'm practicing hard. I'm doing what I need to do. So whenever I get that chance, the opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of it. And I just come down and see what Coach Reid got in plan in store for me, what he want me to do. So whatever they got planned for me, that's what I'm gonna go out there and do, and just do it the best I can.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Nicole, along those same lines of that first question that Pete just asked you, what was your biggest takeaway last year filling in for Tyreek and Sammy that you're able to use this year? Sort of like what was your biggest learning lesson from filling in last year?
Well, I think things are fast. I think it was my rookie year. I just got kind of like thrown to the fire, and it was kind of like overwhelming. But I think this year is more so I'm more experienced. I kind of everything settled down for me. It's slow for me, so it's kind of like I'm ready for that role, and I'm just waiting for that time to come. So, and I don't never want to come as like something like this with an injury or whatever like that. But if it comes like this, then I'll be ready for that challenge. I think I'm gonna be ready and just go from there. So I think just the experience and that I took from last year and bring it to this year, and the different things I can do on the field, especially being out there more of just making plays when it come my way, and knowing what the offense looking for and what Coach Reid looking for and what Pat looking for. So I think that just right there plays a role in that.
Next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
McCole, a couple things. One, I'm curious just overall what you think maybe teams are doing differently against you guys. There's a lot of conversation, although it seems kind of comedic, people saying what's wrong with the offense when you score 32 points, right? But there's kind of this perception that they're taking away some of the big plays. So I'm curious if you could just kind of give a breakdown of what you think is going on there. And then just, what did you do with Buffalo playing on a Tuesday? You had a chance to watch your next opponent. Usually you guys are always playing at the same time, right? Or on your drive home, maybe if they're playing the late game, something like that. This time you had a night game where you could watch your opponent after you guys had maybe already started digging into things. So I'm curious what you did during that game.
To answer your first question, I think I heard you correctly. If you want to say that one more time for me.
Yeah, I apologize. Just what they're doing differently. Like, do you agree with they're taking away your big plays and what teams are doing differently?
Got you now. Okay, yeah. Now I just think they're trying to show us something we haven't seen before, and I think we, as an offense, we just got to execute better on certain things that we call and just really take what they give us. We know the big play is going to be there, and we just got to do a better job of taking it when they actually give us the big play. I mean, guys playing 30 yards off, so it's kind of hard to get behind them, but we still managed to do that anyway. So it just depends on what they're giving us. They're trying to take away the deep ball, but you got guys like Travis and like at the time Sammy that can work underneath those guys and get open. Our man Tyreek might take the top off or whatever it may be. So we just gotta be more efficient as an offense together and taking what they give us and taking wherever they give us, take it, and then when the big play do present itself, then take that as well. So it's just us on the offense. I think we'll be fine. I don't think they're really doing nothing to stop us or hurt us. If it's so, we hurting ourselves, and we know that. So we're gonna be better, going into this week, and we're gonna practice that and throw more things at them that they probably haven't seen us do. And as far as the game, I think more so seeing on TV is kind of different. You're like, whatever, but you definitely can see a whole game and probably get some more film review while you're at home chilling and see what they do, their defense doing, and see how they plan and what you can get from it. So yeah, definitely it's an advantage a little bit to see a game fully, a whole game, except like from you.
Hey, McCole, a couple things. First of all, a lot of numbers, as you know, show that the Chiefs are a better offensive team when Sammy's on the field as opposed to when he's not. Are there some things you can point to on the stat sheet that aren't on the stat sheet, maybe that Sammy does that sort of makes this offense run? And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up in a minute here.
Yeah, I think Sammy, he does things like he blocked very well. He's a very good position route runner underneath, that I think people don't really see what he does. He get guys open, especially because with guys like him, you really got to draw attention to Sammy because he also is good after the catch as well. So that's not a guy that you just want to just keep catching the ball over and over like this. So you got to put some attention to him. And I think, like I was saying earlier with Kelsey and him working underneath me and Tyreek over the top, I think what he does is special that, that makes everybody around him better. He's a good leader. He makes sure that everybody good. And like I said, he blocks very well in certain situations. He blocks after the catch, and he's good after the catch, So those things are there is things that like me, myself, or like Pringle have to, step up on, and why if he is out this game or whatever, and step up and fill those kind of roles and some of that production that he has. So yeah, stuff like that, you definitely got to take notice of what Sammy does, not with the ball in the hands, but what he do without the ball in his hands.
Yeah, now you're your own player with your own strengths, and you have your own things you bring to the offense. But do you feel like you can do some of those things if indeed Sammy's out for a game or two or whatever? You can do some of the things he does and bring some of those qualities to the offense?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I can go out there and block for sure. I think I can get guys open. I can do all that that's needed of me. You know what I'm saying? Is Sammy a little bit better blocking than me? Yeah, he's a bigger frame, a bigger guy, and that can take on bigger blocks. But me myself, I'm gonna go in there and block and do the best I can to help my guys out. And I'm not gonna shy away from him. So I definitely think I can pick up some of that slack for sure without him being on the field.
For our final two, we've got Sam McDowell and then Steve Walls. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, McCall. How much this offseason, I mean, last year you were really good at the deep ball. So how much this offseason were you really concentrating on fine-tuning those intermediate and short routes?
I mean, a lot. I think, like you said, I was good at it last year. I think the deep ball is pretty easily, getting behind defenders and, just tracking the ball, catch. I think that's kind of easy. I think any guys with speed, I think that's the easy part of the game, but more so just the dig routes, the stop routes, the curl, the press, catching in traffic, contested catches is what we got to work on. I think I worked on that a lot in the offseason, and I'm continuing to work on it right now. And even in practice, just focusing on the ball, catching everything. So I think those tools will kind of make you a better receiver, and I think I know I need to do that better and improve on that better, which I am and which I'm trying to do. So if I keep seeing that, I think if I'm more a threat in intermediate game, then the deep ball game open for me, which is pretty easy for me.
So that's Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Miko? Travis tweeted out after the game in the loss to the Raiders that he has to play better. And you responded, it's a team effort and that you have to play better. On those lines, just how do you bounce back after that loss? And what's the vibe been like so far this week in the locker room?
Definitely gonna bounce back. It's more so attacking in their practice, accepting what you did wrong, not trying to point fingers. And I think if we're accountable for everybody, accountable for ourselves, then we'll bounce back just fine. And like you said with the tweet, it is a team effort. I don't think everybody played their best game. I don't think you can just single out anybody that can just be like, oh yeah, well he did his job. It's not that we don't point fingers. I think we're together as a team. We're gonna win as a team. We're gonna lose as a team. And I just feel like that's the mentality we have to have as a team. But this week in practice, we're gonna attack it. We're going there and we're gonna get better and better at practice, and hopefully that translates back to the game and bounce back with a win.
McCall, we appreciate the time today. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll have Mike Remmers coming your way next. Hey there, Mike. Are you ready for us?
Yeah.
Look at that beard.
I know you gotta. I got masked beard right now, so excuse me.
Let's start with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Mike, a couple things. First of all, the Raiders were able to get a lot of pressure on Pat without blitzing on Sunday, and I know that wasn't all a blocking unit issue. There were some other things involved, but how easy is that problem to correct, do you think? I mean, is that something you guys can fix all those problems in time for the Buffalo game? And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up as well.
Yes, absolutely. Last week, obviously didn't get the W, but we did some good things, did some bad things, and I think everything that we did negatively is correctable. Little technique things here and there that in about 30 minutes, I'm about to go on the field and work on that myself. I got to be better, and everyone individually and as a group has things to improve on, and that's what our main focus is today.
And getting the full week of practice this week, is I'm sure you're going to. What does that do for your preparation as opposed to last week when you went in the first quarter?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just just ironing out all the little details. Going into last week, I'd been prepared to go in any position they want me to go in. And so this will be nice to just be able to kind of hone in on one spot and just be able to take care of what I need to during the week, build the confidence up, and get all the technique, the footwork, hand placement, everything down.
Next to Adam O. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Mike. So I know you haven't been with the team for super long. but you've seen how special this group is, and you've been a part of the wins early on this season. You guys are coming off of a loss, and so is Buffalo. How important is it for you guys to not have to press and do too much to try to get a win on the road, quality opponent? What do you guys have to do to make sure you stay calm and go out there and get a good win?
Yeah, I mean, last week has absolutely nothing to do with what's about to take place this week. If we would have won the last week or lost, it doesn't matter. We all have the same mindset this week as just as a unit, as offensive line, as offense, as an entire team. Is just improve, get better, fix what we need to fix, and just move on from there and continue to grow and to develop. But yes, it's a very special team. I feel very fortunate to be here and looking forward to get out and practicing with my teammates.
Let's go next to Greg Eklund. Go ahead, Greg. Nope. Greg, we can't hear you. Okay, we'll come back to you. Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Mike, ideally, I know you'd rather have the 5 starts in one spot. 2 games ago, you got to play on the right side with Mitch. How does that maybe help you as you jump over to the left side and playing with Eric this week when you have kind of been on both sides of the unit?
Yeah, just builds your confidence going in there and playing. This is my 9th year. I've got a lot of experience playing, and but going into a game cold is a little bit more difficult than starting. And having the previous games under my belt is just going to help boost my confidence and just knowing I can go out there and do it. And I'm just really looking forward. Buffalo's got a great defense, so it's going to be a good challenge for us, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Good, Harold.
Hey, Mike, a couple quick questions. One, when you look back at the film and you see how Vegas kind of handled you guys, how much do you take a sense of pride into this next week and following weeks, just knowing that, you kind of lost some battles there? And then 2, Mahomes scrambling around and you having to come in late, filling in for Kelechi. What's that adjustment like, seeing him kind of scramble around and dealing with that?
Yeah, well, looking back on the film, obviously no one's happy with it. No one's satisfied with it. But like I was saying earlier, that the mistakes that we made are all correctable mistakes. They're all things that we're literally about to go out in the field right now and work on and to make sure that they don't happen again. Yeah, I would just, last week wasn't as good as it needs to be. And, we're using that as motivation going into this week that we need to be better and just do a better job working as a team. And with Pat, it's unbelievable, the skills he has, being able to scramble if needed. I mean, I don't want him to scramble. We don't want him scrambling at all. That's last resort kind of thing. Yeah, it is pretty amazing in the amount of plays that he's able to make outside the pocket. So yeah, it's been a little bit different for me, but it's awesome though.
Give Greg one more try here. Greg, can you hear us okay? Yeah, I think we're still having some audio issues, Greg. We've got you. Give that a try. Do you see? How about now? No. All right, Greg. Well, let's go last to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned the Bills' defense, and I know you and Sean McDermott spent some time in Carolina. When you pop open that tape, how much of that still looks the same to you? Because I know, like, when he went up there to be the head coach, it sort of became Carolina North with all the professionals up there.
Yeah. I mean, still, to this day, there's a lot of guys that I play with at Carolina that are playing there. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys and saying hi to them. But, it definitely has a few similarities between the Panthers and them. But, it's a whole different team. It's there's a few things, but overall, it's a different defense. It's a different scheme. There's definitely a handful of things that kind of transition over. But, now they're the Bills. They're not I don't think they're the Carolina in the North now.
Mike, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. See you guys.
See ya. All right, guys. That is it for today.